morning. Happy Thursday, Holiday Hill family. Josh here in the Youth Room for Throwback Thursday. And this Throwback Thursday takes us to the early 1980s. There were two guys in film. Their names were Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis. Two friends, as a matter of fact. They wanted to create a romantic comedy sci-fi action movie based on time travel. They would call it Back to the Future. One small problem with Back to the Future: no one wanted it. They went to multiple production companies and were rejected many times over. Some production companies rejected them more than once. One example, Disney did not want it. Disney thought Back to the Future was a terrible idea. The idea of someone's mom falling in love with their kid from the future was just a little too racy. Many production companies in the 1980s thought at the same time the movie wasn't edgy enough. The rebellious youth culture would never get on board with this Back to the Future idea. Ultimately, Universal and Amblin Entertainment took on the idea because Steven Spielberg was friends with Robert Zemeckis. The production begins, and the original idea for this time machine was a refrigerator. Steven Spielberg vetoed that idea. The idea of a refrigerator being a time machine is just too dangerous. Kids are going to watch this movie and they're going to want to travel in time like Marty. What happens when they find a refrigerator and close on and get in it and close the door and then can't get out? As a matter of fact, in many states, if you take a refrigerator out to your driveway to get disposed of, it's legally required. You have to remove the doors for that very reason, so kids don't get locked in it. So what do? Because Spielberg did not like the refrigerator time machine, they had to go back to the drawing board. And back to the drawing board they did, and created quite possibly one of the most iconic vehicles of pop culture history. The DeLorean, the DMC-12 time machine. And quite frankly, the rest is history. So what do we get from this today? This weekend, I'll be filling in for Pastor Albert. We'll be preaching about marriage and submission, and how oftentimes that is usually very poorly communicated. But you know what's interesting, and this is the part I want to encourage you guys on today. Oftentimes when we communicate, one of our biggest communication failures is that we listen for the purpose of replying, and we don't listen for the purpose of understanding. Take a moment to appreciate that. We listen for the purpose of replying, not for the purpose of understanding. Sometimes hearing someone out is all we need to avoid more conflict. Sometimes we need to hear from other voices to become wiser and smarter in our own decision making. Zemeckis and Gale, they could have been stuck up about it. They could have fought over it. They could have made this a hill to die on. But they listened, and it created something great. I encourage you guys today, who do you need to listen to? Who do you need to understand today? And not just listen for the sake of replying. Take care. God bless.